Hey, we back. I'm here on Discord once again, where we're talking about Epic RPG today. The second video about Epic RPG. As I said in the introduction one, there's a lot of things to talk about in Epic RPG, and where to start is an issue. However, still proceeding to aim it at new players, what I figured I'd talk about today is how to be efficient with your item collecting, and by that I mean your chop, your axe, your fish, in fact potentially even your bone saw. It's just bone saw, yeah. Getting yourself the most resources the most efficiently so you can build your gear. If we have a look at the recipe tab, we see all of the recipes that you make, and this is what you're going to be looking at, especially at the start, to figure out what sword and armor you should be trying to build next. Because, of course, when you start out the bot, your progression is going to be quick. The amount of items needed to build these first few sets of gear is quite low. You will get them quite quickly and continue to upgrade and get through the arenas. Getting through the arenas, of course, is good because you unlock better versions of the item collecting commands. It's all good stuff. However, we've got to pay reasonable attention to this. Let's suppose you're just starting out, you're down all the way in Arena 1, and you're looking at what armor to build. Take eye armor, for example. Eye armor looks pretty good. How'd you get an eye? Well, the answer is you don't. Not in Arena 1. You have to go up a couple arenas before you can get stuff like that. However, this is not the case with all types of armor. Let's have a look at epic armor, for example. It's all the way down here. However, all you need is epic logs and epic fish. Both of these you can get all the way down in Arena 1. So you could, if you wanted, just straight away start grinding for the epic armor. And if we have a look at the second page, this continues to be the case. Let's take, for example, the coin armor. Of course, you need a lot of money for it, but you can get money. And then you just need wood. It looks like some spicy wood, but you can craft up the wood. You could, in theory, in Arena 1, get the coin armor. Now, I'm not suggesting it, that would be silly, because you still have to go up the arena so you're getting more wood at a time by unlocking the better wood commands such as axe, as opposed to chop. But skipping armor tiers is the point here. We want to skip as many armor tiers as possible, because building an armor that you then get rid of anyway, it's just a waste of resources. So what kind of armor should you be looking at getting? Well, when you start out, the fish sword and the wolf armor are both perfectly reasonable. They both give a reasonable amount of attack and defense compared with the base ones. Look, it's more than double, both of these, and of course way better than having no armor at all. Their cost is not too high. Get the wolf skins, of course, but that's the only difficult bit there. And besides that, we just need some golden fish, some epic logs, which might be a little difficult to get at the start, but keep grinding and you'll get it. But after that, I would say skip right to the epic armor, like I said. You have the ingredients for this right away, and you don't have ingredients for the other stuff. You can't get the banana, you can't get the zombie eye, the apple, the zombie eye, the apple. All of these other armors here, you can't get these rubies either. Or potatoes. All of these armors, between wolf armor and epic armor, is not unlockable until you've gone further into the game. Of course, you could try and get further into the game, but it would be inefficient to build that armor only to upgrade it into epic armor. So what you do, you keep grinding, and then once you've got the epic armor, you're set, right? You've got loads of defense now. You can probably go like 2 arenas, and you can carry, you can solo the dungeons. It's a good plan. Good plan indeed. But what about after that? After that, we've got the coin armor, like I said, which is more wood, and the coin sword as well. And by this point, you will need rubies, but if you've already got coin armor, I think unlocking, I believe it's area 4, where you get rubies, not too bad. Getting 4 rubies is pretty easy at that point. And then after that, we're down on the edgy sword, because this is all wood as well. They are, if you look at it, the armor and swords which you can get way earlier. All the others require spicy stuff. This requires chips, this requires mermaid hairs, these require unicorn horns, and it's not to say that you can't just go up areas and then unlock that stuff, but it is to say that you can skip progression by not doing that, going straight for things like coin armor and coin sword. which is pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Now, do you notice a pattern between all of these things? Requires wood, requires wood, requires wood. Admittedly, does require a fish, but 125 epic logs is actually more than one epic fish, because you need 100 golden fish to craft it, and the golden fish is just as rare as the epic logs. So this is basically 100 golden fish, and this is 125 epic logs. Point being, it requires wood. All of these require wood, which is why it's definitely optimal at the start of the game. When you're going up, always be doing the wood action. Try and get as much wood as possible. Now, there is one caveat to this, which is trade. I'm sure you know the trade command. I believe you unlock it in Area 2, so maybe not. But the trade command, very simple. You trade. You trade fish for wood, wood for fish, and all the other resources down here. If you are just starting out, you'll probably notice that this ratio is not the same as yours. You start out with a 1-to-1 rate. And as you go up the areas, buying wood actually becomes a little more expensive. Or rather, it becomes a little cheaper. Selling wood becomes a little more expensive. The point is, the wood isn't as valuable anymore, because you have to spend more of it to get the fish. The fish gives you more wood. So having fish is valuable because you can trade fish for wood and get more wood. So why am I here telling you to get wood? Firstly, these trades can't be done with the higher tier stuff. This is only the normie fish and the regular wooden logs. You can't be done with the higher tier stuff, at least not as far as I've progressed anyway. Also, what you can do right before you go into an arena is you can trade all of your wood to fish. And then after you've done the dungeon, trade it back again, and you just gain wood. Notably, your rate will go from 1 up to 2, in Area 5, and 1 up to 3 in Area 6. And it changes a little more later down. If you want to know more about how the trade menu changes later on, there's the Epic RPG guide, which can tell you more about it. And there's also a very nice pinned diagram in the official server, which we're not going to look at today, but I would recommend having a look at it because it's pretty good, and we'll talk about it in another video. The point is, despite the fact that wood becomes less and less valuable when these trades get worse and worse for it, it is still better to go for wood, and then when you're about to do the dungeon, you trade it all to fish, and then you trade it back to wood again. Pretty good stuff. It's also arguably correct that you dismantle your higher tier stuff, which you can do. We can dismantle stuff. Dismantle epic log. For example, this gives me 20 wooden logs. It takes 25 wooden logs to craft an epic log. So this is inefficient. However, if you're going to trade them all for fish, go through the dungeon and then trade them back to wood again, say in Area 5, you get double the amount. This may not be 25, but it's certainly not half of 25, is it? So it's correct to dismantle all of your wood to wooden logs, trade it all into fish, then do the dungeon, and then trade it all back again. Which sounds kind of weird, but it works out good. By that logic, you could also argue that it's more efficient just to get the fish in the first place. But I don't think this is actually true, because it means that potentially there will be more to dismantle. You'll have to dismantle actually all the fish, whereas maybe with the wood you might want to keep the high tier ones. Not sure how the maths works out on that one, but it's potentially a thing. But also because, at least in Area 4, trading the wood to fish is 1-to-1 anyway. So it's no more efficient at all to do fishing and then trading it to wood. You could argue in Area 5 it's more efficient to do fishing, and then when you go up to Area 6, trade it all to wood, because trading it the reverse is only a 2-to-1 rate and it's slightly more efficient. And I can't disagree with that. It's all a whole bunch of maths. And like I said, check out the official server, pin diagrams, and also the Epic Helper Guide if you want more information on that. I'm not trying to talk about that too much today. This is just about being efficient with your resources. And wood is the thing that you want. How to get your wood is the more difficult question. But certainly, one method of getting your wood is just writing the command to get wood, and then you get wood. You also have to be aware of professions. Professions we will talk about in another video. I know this is starting to drag on a bit, so I won't go into it too much here. But we do have professions. And your top profession here, your worker profession, increases the chance to get a better item with working commands. It upgrades the more often you do your working commands, such as your wood thing. So even irrespective of what you are grinding for, you should always make sure you are grinding for items, partly just because items are valuable, but also because it upgrades your worker profession, and then in the future, when you do want more items, you will be able to get them more easily. Your working commands really are the most important ones, especially at the start. That's for sure. But there you go, being efficient with your stuff, skipping your armor tiers, making sure you're getting wood, making sure you're efficient with not crafting too much unnecessary armor, maybe doing some trades before dungeons. It's all good stuff. And I'm hoping, once we've built up a good repertoire of these guides, it will all mesh together very nicely, and you'll know everything that's going on. Wonderful. So I think that's that. We will end this video here. Bye!